Yeah, exactly. Thank you. So yes, I've heard much about citizen science, also in the coffee breaks. But I would like to stress at this point, and this comes up and up again, that citizen science is not just about generating the data. It's much, much more in all these projects. It is about engaging the community, raising awareness, really being there, listening to the concerns of the people, educating them, and eventually creating a sense of agency for problem, and also a sense of stewardship, in this case for the oceans or the water. And how do I see the digital twin of the ocean and its importance to citizen science, and how can it be supported in the long term? First of all, it's an awareness raising tool. I like looking at the visualization. We also heard from another panelist. It's a fantastic educational tool. You know, if you look at it, you can really, local communities can see what's happening in front of my doorstep is actually interconnected to the rest of the world of the ocean. And this is something that often lacks in the citizen science projects. And secondly, EDITO could be a fantastic tool for raising engagement and participation, really true engagement of the citizens and influence on policy and decision-making level. Communities could find the evidence, gather the data for their local concerns, and raise this to policymakers. This in turn would then also raise the credibility if such policies were implemented based on the data that the communities themselves have seen. It would also create make whole decision makers accountable for the policies they're making. What if there's a bad decision? I can check in a simple way with a what if scenario. This policy does not make sense to me, in very, very simple terms, of course. And then in terms of what this would require from EDITO is, I cannot stress this enough, really a user-friendly, simple tool. Researchers have often, you mentioned the vocabulary, a very, very different way of looking and talking about things than have the citizens. And this really needs to be taken into concern for EDITO. And then the third point for me is the contribution of citizen science data to the digital twin ocean. Citizen science is often fragmented. You have a lot of local initiatives. They use different methods, different devices to gather data. They have different quality control measures. All of this makes like little island data sets that are not interoperable or meaningful on a larger sense. So you need to have, this is particularly important also in the sense that, Mission Starfish has said by 2025, which is next year, 20% of the data generated for the future restoration of our oceans is meant to come from citizen science generated data. So we are not by far there. So what actually OTTERS is doing is it's clustering projects for standardization purposes.
Can we come back to that?
Yeah.
Or can I split that? Do you mind?
Yeah, sure.
Or is it okay?
Yeah.
Just to sort of talk more broadly about citizen science